Hello there. Welcome to Below Deck, brought to you by the Empower SCL Student Leadership Team, where we talk about untold stories in our history.
We are doing this project by reading and discussing Keith Benson's book, The Power and the Glory. We wanted to switch things up by learning more about our true history and then becoming teachers of our history ourselves.
The goal of this project is to give younger viewers the knowledge we feel they should know about their culture.
5. Bartolomé de las Casas, circa 1514. In 1493, Christopher Columbus paraded the natives he had stolen from the Caribbean to Spain. Bartolomé de las Casas' father was impressed and decided to accompany Columbus on his second voyage. Years later, Daddy de las Casas returned to Spain a rich man. He had received money, slaves, and stolen land for his service. After attending the best schools and eventually earning a degree in the law and theology, young Bartolomé de las Casas came to the Dominican Republic, then Hispaniola, to claim the inheritance his father had left him. He had to force the native to work, making him money and allowing him to live the high society, a pressure life. But after years of mind-bending cruelty in the New World House of Horrors, around 1510, Dominican priests from Europe confronted Bartolomé with the contradiction of his cruelty against the natives. The Dominicans said oppression was a mortal sin, meaning oppressors would go to hell.
By 1514, Bartolomé made up his mind to change and act in accordance with his religion. He freed his captives and renounced the encomienda system. He embraced equality for natives and began a lifelong mission fighting for the rights of natives. At first, Bartolomé suggested Africans as more suitable for slavery, but after witnessing the same devastation and cruelty visited upon them, he renounced that the position and began one of the first international human rights conversations. Bartolomé wrote several books and pamphlets, including the book Tears of Indians and History of the Indies. Greedy men claim Las Casas was exaggerating. Yet today, victims of genocide, few Tiano or Arawaks exist in the Caribbean. Both Christopher Columbus and Bartolomé de las Casas claim to be Christians.
Welcome to Below Deck, our hidden history. We will be discussing about Keith Benson's book, The Power and the Glory.
Today we'll be discussing Part 5, Bartolomé de las Casas. Basically, Christopher Columbus was the son of a beep.
Alright, so basically what he was saying was Christopher Columbus was stealing slaves from the Caribbean. So Bartolomé dad liked that he was stealing slaves, so he would want to get rich off him. So then Bartolomé basically he went to one of the best high schools, well, a couple of the best high schools, and eventually earned a degree. So which means when his father wanted his son, which is Bartolomé, to like take over the king and stuff, that Bartolomé had degrees and stuff, so which means he could do things like that, and he forced slaves to work for him and stuff like that.
Bartolomé was super rich, and he was told by a priest that if he keeps doing these bad things, he's going to go to hell.
So basically, he had a huge spin in his life, meaning that once he made a huge spin in his life, all the slaves that he captured, he freed them. So after he did that, he began one of the first international human rights conversations.
Hashtag stay woke.